How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Today's a great day. I'm heading home to the good old West Coast where I belong. All that good stuff, but I digress. Today's subject matter is going to be called How Shaq Once Blew Through $1 million in under an hour, but now he saves about 70% of his income. Now, Shaquille O'Neal, whether you love him or hate him, it doesn't really matter. People will, no matter who you like, love, consider friends, family in life, you're always going to have a disagreement with an individual in regards to what they say and do, and that's fine. Because if you're always around somebody who you agree with all the time, then there's no room for growth with that relationship, whether it's a significant other, whether it's a friendship. You know, you can agree to disagree, but be respectful to one another. So I know Shaq has caught flack for certain things he said about politics, which is why it's always best to stay out of politics, because somebody's always going to get pissed off with one or the other. But enough about that nonsense, because that's what I call it, because it doesn't make me money and it doesn't make you money. So to the task at hand. Now let's get down to business, family. This video is basically about the one, the only Shaquille O'Neal, aka former NBA basketball star, former and current actor, former rapper. I remember when I was a kid and I used to play his video games back when I had played video games on the first Sega system, and Shaq had his own game on there, and with his video game actually was a CD, you know. So it was, hey, I'm a kid, so I was excited about it. And the only reason why I was a big fan of Shaquille O'Neal because I'm a tall person. Obviously, he's way taller than me, and I just gravitated towards Shaquille O'Neal he was playing for the Orlando Magic back then. And I was just a big Shaquille fan. Then I saw the movies that he was in as a child. So, interesting stuff. And, the man that he is today is definitely a man. He's totally different than the man he was back in the 90s. So it shows growth, progression, evolution, etc. Because if you're not evolving, you're staying the same, and then eventually you will disappear, to quote Tupac. But anyways, I digress. Surprisingly enough, this article stated within an hour of Shaquille O'Neal's first basketball contract in 1992, he blew $1 million within an hour. Now, a lot of people will say, how's that possible? It's possible, especially nowadays in the digital age. It's very possible to blow through money just like that. But anyways, obviously he was much younger at the time, 20 years to be exact. And like myself, when I was in my early 20s, I would have blew through at least half of that money, at least half, not all of it, but at least half. Because you just want to have a little fun, and then you got that mindset, no, can't nobody tell me anything, so blah, 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 blah. Anyways, the basis of financial intelligence, the basis of it is turning $5 into $20, making money grow. Look at money as a seed. I've said it all the time. I know other YouTubers say it all the time. Make the money grow. Plant it in a specific area. And even if it's not going to grow fast, at least let it grow slow, because in a bank account, it's going to grow very slow. But with a stock, gold, bonds, cryptocurrency, it could lose value, but it has a chance of growing even higher compared to a bank account. But either one of those options I mentioned are one of the best places to put a couple of dollars in every month if possible. That's basically how it is. But the opposite of financial intelligence is not turning $5 into $20, but actually having $5 turn into $1.50. So basically losing value. That's why they call people that are doing that nonsense, they call that going ass backwards. When it comes to money, my friends, let's just keep it real. Now, back to the story at hand. Mr. O'Neal bought about $150,000 worth of a Mercedes-Benz for him and his father. So basically, he spent $300,000 if you just want to do the math. One for himself and one for his dad. And also he bought a car for his mom and paid off her house. Now, I'm all for the paying off the mother's house, 100%. Mother's house, father's house, whoever raised you, ensure they don't have to worry about having a mortgage. Because I'm definitely all for that. I know that most families are not going to be rich. Let's be real. There's no system out there that allows every family to be rich. But there are systems out there, especially if you take it back to the tribalism days, of the world, not just parts of the world, but the world. You had people who, everybody was rich because they were enriching community, family, love, food, and shelter. The simple things in life, I'll leave it at that. But when it comes to today's modern age, not every person can be financially rich. Okay, we all know that. But if every single family could at least, back like a lot of families still do, mostly immigrant families, but Americans used to back in 30 to 50 years ago, could at least have one family home that doesn't have a mortgage on it, that the family can share and cherish. It's a very important thing to have. It's kind of like that old movie Soul Food, Big Mama's house, the mother. That house was in that family. There was no mortgage on it for the most part. And everybody felt like that since the young ladies grew up in that house, they all felt like they owned a piece of the house and they wanted to keep it in the family and not sell it, because a lot of people don't do that nowadays, just to have one place, just one place. Pass it down, It's just that the power of having a home that does not have a mortgage on it means it's a big freaking deal. And even if you do sell it, at least sell it for a huge profit, especially if like the state government or the city wants to buy it from you, or a corporation. You just never know. But like I said, I could talk about real estate all day, so let me get back to Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, the reason why I'm making this video, okay? And all I can say is that, most people, even with financial intelligence, has made mistakes with money before. That's life. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. Yes, I am quoting Pops from Friday. Don't hate, appreciate. Anyway, Mr. O'Neal says that when it comes to managing money, he is the first to admit that he has done a lot of wrong. Like I said, you live, you learn, you move on. Since Mr. O'Neal is a very successful businessman, growing his fortune via various investments, this is what I love about Shaq, today's Shaq. Forget about the basketball career. Let's talk about today's Shaq. Various investments and business ventures. Something that I did not know about Mr. O'Neal is that he invested into Google and Apple when they were basically in their infant stages. And today owns about 17 Auntie Annie's, a Krispy Kreme franchise, and multiple other franchises such as restaurants, gyms, and car washes. And I remember that he was actually doing a comedy. He might still own part, I'd have to look into that, part of a comedy business with Martin, because Shaq and Martin had their own comedy tours going on. So he's a businessman. Mr. O'Neal is just on point with that, and that's what I respect more about him today. Because if you've ever watched my videos, one, I don't care about sports. I care about business. Two, if this is your first time watching my video, please hit the like button, please share, and please subscribe. And also, who am I? What is my background? Okay, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a wholesaler. Matter of fact, I'm about to close on a house within a couple of weeks. I'm a wholesaler looking to wholesale actually a property within Manassas, Virginia. So inbox me if you're interested. And I sell products online via my online Larry's Anything Goes store. So wanted to get the business stuff out of the way. Don't have to throw that stuff out there all the time, because it's really all about the content in this moment. But I just wanted to put that out there. If this is your first time watching my video, this is who I am, this is what I do. And hey, it's nothing new. And I hope you guys are out there going after your entrepreneurial dreams, no matter what shape, form, or fashion. How small it may be, how fast or slow it may be, but if you're out there pursuing something outside of your job, you're part of the club of getting it done and independence. That's my own opinion on it. I'll leave it at that. But Mr. Shaquille O'Neal stated, thanks to his mentor, which is smart, because successful entrepreneurship starts with great mentorship. And not only that, but entrepreneurship starts with actions, plans, all at the same time. And who has done, because the main thing is, because even myself, I have multiple mentors. I've had them in my career, and now I have them in the business world. So with a great mentor, obviously they've done the things that you want to do. They've been to where you want to go, okay? And they know that they can give you some advice, especially on what not to do. Now, you will still make mistakes, because that's any journey, mistakes are going to be made. But having a guide, it's like being out in the ocean. Like, eventually you're going to run into a storm, but if your mentor teaches you how to guide the ship, you know how to fight through the storms. That's the best way I can describe a mentor, in my personal opinion. Now, Mr. O'Neal said, and I quote, "I met a gentleman one time," and I love this story. He said he had a piece of paper. He said, this is $100. The man proceeded to rip the $100, well, rip the paper, obviously, but obviously the mental aspects of it, think of it as $100, in half, and then told Mr. O'Neill, smart people invest $50, and then they save half. So then they invest $50 and they have $50 left. Okay. He also stated that true wealthy people take half of that $50 and put it away. So Mr. O'Neill started doing just that. Hence the term, if you have a little extra money, doesn't mean that you have to spend it. To sum this article up at the end of the day, Mr. O'Neill saves and invests 75% of his income and lives off the remaining 25% of his income. So, let you know he doesn't really live crazy beyond his means, which a lot of people, especially working people, get in trouble doing. They religiously live above their means. And, and that's why a lot of high paid employees during the financial meltdown had a lot of issues, not just because of losing their job, but for reasons that the price of the cars were too much, the cost of the homes were too much, the savings account wasn't building as much as the debt was building. And, a lot of people are just addicted to bad debt, meaning high credit cards, high overpriced homes, and overpriced cars, and some instances, student loan debts. So a lot of people are just addicted to bad debts, and the fact that, Mr. O'Neill saves 75% of his income when he doesn't have to. Now imagine if more working people would apply this to their lifestyle if they had the right kind of discipline. Even for a person who is actually rich, knows how to save money for the rainy days. Because if the financial meltdown of 2007 didn't prove anything, that rainy days will come. And then if it doesn't prove that the rainy days will come, then I don't know what will. I just don't know what will prove that to you. No matter who the president is, who runs the Congress, who your governor, your mayor, when it comes to economics, it's like a tidal wave, and the economy is the same wave. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So you got to be ready for it to go down. There's already talks about another recession on its way. Are you ready for the next recession? Or are you too busy looking good with the, nice overpriced clothes and the shoes and the hair and the nails and the car and the home and all that good stuff? Living simple, man, it's worked wonders for me personally. So I think a lot of people need to get back to that. They always talk about getting back to certain things. We need to get back to being more simple and making sure two things grow: savings account, investments, and streams of income. But that's just my personal opinion on that as well. Okay, so that's just what it is. Because Mr. O'Neill also stated that whatever's left over, he has a little fun too. Because he lives off of 25% of his money and saves 75% of his money. Because no one is saying don't have fun in life. That's another thing. Because I'm about to go have some fun, tomorrow. No one's saying don't have fun in life. But like anything else, just don't over exaggerate when it comes to having fun. It's like if you drink alcohol, don't drink a lot of it. If you like to eat pizza, but you want to be healthy, eat a little pizza. Don't eat a lot of it. Don't eat the whole box. Don't eat half the box. Get 2 to 3 pieces and call it a day. And if you want some more, get some more the next day. It's like if you're going to have a drink, have 1 or 2 and call it a day. You don't got to have 6 or 7. You ain't got to buy up the bar. It's just these little things. Like everybody has their thing that they like to indulge in, but they know too much of it isn't good. And that's why a lot of people, especially last week, everybody was indulging a little too much in Popeye's chicken, which I'm going to clown everybody to the day I die because I don't understand how lines could be out in the parking lot for that, but lines can't be out in the parking lot for making some money. But that's another story for another day. Anyways, but you gotta have some fun in life. Life's too short. You never know. Tomorrow's not promised. And Mr. O'Neill's advice to young people coming into a lot of money is to do the same. He said, and I quote, "I tell them that money isn't going to last forever. You've got to save it, you've got to invest it, and you've got to be smart. So if you're not going to take it from me, please take it from an expert like Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. Make the money, save the money, then invest the money. And even if you were born into a wealthy family, these principles still exist as well." And one thing I can say obviously, remember this, if you can't get fired if you own the company. But I remember seeing a movie, and you should check this out if you get a chance. I think it's still on YouTube, but obviously you can get it on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Amazon itself. The movie was called The 1%. And it was talking about how rich families gathered specific times a year. And I know a lot of immigrant families who aren't considered quote unquote rich, but they have family meetings. So the wealthy do the same thing. They have the financial experts, they have their financial planners, and they have members of the family. And it's like a think tank to where ideas are circling around like a roller coaster, like a merry-go-round. And ideas of this is how much you're worth, this is how you can stay wealthy, these are your current investments, and these are projected investments that you should make in order to ensure that your family wealth continuously grows. So a lot of immigrant families do the same thing. Some American families do, but it's not really prevalent in the American culture because we got this whole, you graduated high school or college, go out on your own, do great things, you're on your own. There's no money circling around the family like that unless it's like a holiday or a birthday or something to that effect. So with that being said, more families should have, and I've said this, families can be a corporation if you make them. So it's like you've got a brother and sister, cousins and whatnot. It's not trying to show off in front of each other who's got the best purses and the best shoes and the best cars and the best houses, all that nonsense. Why don't you say, hey brother, hey sister, hey cousin, hey mother, hey father, whatever, uncle, aunt, hey, let's open up a business. Or let's have a family fund to where we can contribute amounts of money every month, whether it's $10 to $15, $20 a month, and then we decide to make an investment every year with that specific amount of money. We hold a family vote and we go from there, because just like I said, the other day I read an article about these gentlemen in Philadelphia. They basically put money away every month and they bought an investment property, and their plan is after a year goes by to take equity out of that home and buy another investment property. And these are just guys, these are young guys, these brothers, I have to give them credit. So to do something like that and to be around people like that is freaking amazing. But too many people worried about Jay-Z buying, doing a football deal that nobody even knows the background of, and I honestly don't care because, like I said, it doesn't affect my life. Or what some other celebrity said, or something to that effect, because that's more important, obviously, even though it has nothing to do with changing your life. I'm not trying to be condescending or a jerk, but I just wish more and more people would try to engage in the money game than they do the sports and entertainment game. But I know sports and entertainment is way more fun than actually growing your bank account. So I leave it at that. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Please give it a like, thumbs up, share, check out the online store, and go after your dreams, man. 2019 is almost over. Continuously fighting the good fight, not only to just survive, but to fight, go after your dreams and get around the right people that are going to support your dreams, contribute to your dreams, you contribute to their dreams, etc. and so forth. Have a great day. West Coast, baby, bound. So I'm excited. That's home, and y'all take care.